Amid the looming possibility of a widespread global conflict, the Pentagon is deeply focused on strategic planning. Each branch of the military is actively seeking strategies to effectively prepare for a new kind of warfare. The U.S. Air Force, in particular, is grappling with the challenge of reevaluating its approach to large-scale mobility in a region where expansive bodies of water take precedence over the terrain it has traditionally operated in over the past 20 years. This analysis delves into how the U.S. Air Force is readying itself to address a potential conflict in the Pacific region, specifically honing tactics for the swift and efficient movement of personnel and resources within this expansive area. In recent times, military experts have been engaged in simulations centered around a specific scenario, envisioning the outcome if China were to initiate an attack on Taiwan, prompting a response from the United States. At the core of this scenario lies a critical question: how would the United States overcome the logistical hurdle of rapidly deploying its military forces across the world's largest ocean? To explore plausible solutions, the U.S. Air Force has recently executed an extensive operation dubbed Mobility Guardian 2023. This undertaking involved more than 3,000 troops and 70 mobility aircraft from 7 different nations, including C-130S, KC-46S, and A-400 airlifters. The decision to relocate this exercise to the Pacific was made by the Pentagon. AESA News had the opportunity to observe this year's event and witness firsthand how the Air Force facilitated the transportation of troops, equipment, and supplies to the various island chains dotting the Pacific expanse. Fundamentally, the U.S. Air Force is revolutionizing its approach to engagements in the Pacific. In the previous 2 decades, the focus had been on responding to the war on terror, relying on a rotation of airmen deployed to established bases across the globe to facilitate their required presence. This sometimes entailed dispatching an entire squadron for a single mission, while other times, a handful of airmen from different units filled vacant overseas positions. Now, the U.S. Air Force is implementing a new strategy where airmen from the same unit at home will deploy collectively as an integrated team known as Air Expeditionary Wings. Alongside the introduction of more predictable schedules and comprehensive training, this revamped approach aims to cultivate highly proficient units capable of operating independently of large established bases. In scenarios like a potential Taiwan conflict, U.S. airmen would collaborate with international counterparts, a scenario that Mobility Guardian also scrutinized. 6 of America's closest allies were active participants in this year's event: Australia, Canada, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, France, and Japan. Collaboratively, airmen flew on each other's aircraft, exchanged operational insights, and navigated the intricacies of operating across numerous time zones. The experiences and lessons learned during these collaborative flights play a pivotal role in fostering effective integration in case real missions necessitate joint efforts. In addition to enhancing international collaboration, the Air Force is focused on bolstering its self-reliance in establishing forward operating bases in remote areas. Traditionally reliant on other services for such operations, the U.S. Air Force now intends to increasingly leverage its contingency response groups for these purposes. While the central challenge of swiftly transporting personnel and equipment over great distances remained a focal point of Mobility Guardian, the exercise also served as a fertile ground for the exploration of evolving tactics. A pertinent example is the strategic evacuation of wounded troops from Pacific battlegrounds in the event of hostilities. Medevac flights would necessitate accommodating significantly more patients over longer distances than previously encountered. During Mobility Guardian, airmen diligently worked on a range of solutions. These included deploying medics to provide on-ground triage for the wounded and experimenting with varying combinations of supplies during flights. The extensive, rigorous nature of Mobility Guardian unveiled multifaceted layers of the U.S. Air Force's preparations for potential Pacific warfare.